This play is sponsored by the California Civil Liberties Public Education Program, a state-funded grant project of the California State Library.
This is LA Theater Works. I'm Susan Loewenberg. Amir has left his Pakistani heritage behind in an attempt to make partner at his corporate law firm. But his wife doesn't share his negative feelings about Islam. She's encouraged Amir to help with the case of a controversial imam. The play received the 2013 Pulitzer Prize for Drama. And now, LA Theater Works presents Disgraced by Ayad Akhtar, starring Geoffrey Arend, Behzad Dabu, Dhillon, Sameerah Luqmaan-Harris, and Emily Swallow. Directed by Brian Kite.
You sure you don't want me to put my pants on?
I only need you from the waist up.
I still think this is a little strange.
Yeah?
That you want to paint me after seeing a painting of a slave.
Juan de Pareja was Velázquez's assistant, honey, and a painter in his own right.
And his slave.
Until Velázquez freed him.
No idea what that has to do with what happened last night.
A man, a waiter, looking at you.
Looking at us.
Not seeing you. Not seeing who you really are. Not until you started to deal with him and the skill with which you did that.
It's not the first time.
You made him see that gap between what he was assuming about you and what you really are.
The guy's a racist. So what?
So it got me thinking about the Velázquez painting and how people must have reacted when they first saw it. They think they're looking at a picture of Amor, an assistant.
A slave.
Fine, a slave. That painting has more nuance, complexity, life than his paintings of kings and queens, and God knows how many of those Velázquez did. Anyway, I don't know what you're so worried about. It's not like anybody's going to see this.
Baby! Jerry Saltz loved your last show. That review
Jerry
was...
Saltz liked it. He didn't love it. It didn't sell.
Selling's not everything.
Selling's not everything. You really believe that?
I have to get this.
Fine, just stay where you are.
You enjoying your Pop-Tarts? I don't give a fuck that it's Saturday morning. You are paid 6 figures to return my calls. Paragraph 4, subsection 3, last sentence. Why are those 3 words still in there? You missed that. No. What actually happened is I told you to fix it and you didn't. Well, then behave like it, fucking career paralegal.
Wow.
I don't catch his little fuck up, cost the client $850,000.
It's actually kind of hot.
Is it? What's his name again?
Juan de Pareja.
It's a little fucked up. Give me that at least.
I happen to know you like it a little fucked up.
That's Mort. I have to get it.
Fine, you're done. Do you want more coffee?
Yeah. Hey, Mort. Good. You? Yeah, contract's done. We'll have it for them first thing on Monday. I spoke to Paolo. Seller's remorse. But it's a moot point. His board is going to vote against him. I'm going to keep feeding him the line on litigation. If he doesn't play ball, we are going to rip his guts out. So you should expect a call from him after I'm through with him. Good cop, bad cop. Yeah, she's right here. Mort says hi.
Tell him hi.
She says hi. We have plans for Labor Day, Mort. Don't worry about it. Okay, you too. Enjoy the weekend. Bye-bye.
Hamptons?
Em, we have got that thing in Bucks County.
I know.
Jory and Isaac.
It's got me a little freaked out.
It has taken forever to make that happen.
Isaac's a big deal.
And he's going to love your work.
How is Mort?
Obsessed with the idea that meditation is going to lower his cholesterol.
I haven't seen him in ages.
I barely see him. He hardly comes in. I mean, basically, I'm doing his job. Not that I mind.
He loves you.
He depends on me.
He spent I don't know how much on that birthday present for you.
Couple of grand at least.
Excuse me.
Honey, I really am pretty much doing his job.
So he gets you a book or a bottle of scotch or he takes you to dinner. Why did he get you that statue of Shiva? He doesn't think you're Hindu, does he?
May have mentioned something once. You do realize I am going to end up with my name on that firm?
Leibowitz, Bernstein, Harris, and Kapoor.
My mother will roll over in her grave.
Your mother would be proud.
Well, it's not the family name, so she might not care seeing it alongside all those Jewish ones, but proud? My mother would not be.
That'll be Abe.
Abe?
Your nephew?
Right, Abe.
Yes. Send him up.
Abe Jensen. I will never get used to that. From Hussein Malik, he goes to Abe Jensen. Can't take it seriously.
I don't like what's happening.
Oh, you're not going to let this thing go, are you?
Somebody's got to do something about it.
I went to see that imam in prison. What more do you two want?
Please, just talk to him.
Come in, Hussein.
Uncle,
What?
could you just call me Abe?
I've known you your entire life as Hussein. I am not going to start calling you Abe now.
Hi, Abe.
Hi, Aunt Emily. See? How hard can it be?
Abe Jensen? Really?
You know how much easier things are for me since I changed my name? It's in the Quran. It says you could hide your religion if you have to. It's called Taqiyya.
I am not talking about the Quran. I am talking about being called Abe Jensen. Just lay off it with me and your folks, at least.
It's gotta be one thing or the other. I can't be all mixed up.
You changed your name, too.
Yeah, you were lucky. You didn't even have to change your first name. Amir could be Christian, Jewish. Plus, you were born here. It's different.
You want something, sweetie? Coffee, juice?
Nah, I'm good.
So, what's up?
I'll let you two gentlemen talk.
No need. Everybody knows you're in on this. So you've been calling her too?
You weren't calling me back.
Why are we still talking about this? I am a corporate lawyer in mergers and acquisitions.
Who started in the public defenders.
That was years ago.
Imam Fareed didn't do anything.
That guy should have been more careful.
Every church in the country collects money. It's how they keep their doors open. We're entitled too. He's running a mosque.
It's the law. It's in the Constitution. Just because they're collecting money doesn't mean it's for Hamas.
What does any of this have to do with me?
It doesn't matter to you that an innocent man is in prison?
I don't know Patriot Act law. The guy's already got a legal team. Ken and Jerry. They are amazing lawyers.
They're not Muslim.
There we go.
What?
What I thought. I am not going to be part of a legal team just because your imam is a bigot.
He's not a bigot. He'd just be more comfortable if there was a Muslim on the case, too.
More comfortable if he wasn't being represented by a couple of Jews?
No, he liked you. He said you were a good man.
Well, he might not feel the same way if he knew how I really felt about his religion.
Well, that's just a phase.
Excuse me?
Well, that's what Mom said Grandma used to say about you. That you were working something out. That you were always such a good Muslim when you were a kid and that you had to go the other way for a while.
The other way?
Yeah.
Sit down, Hussein. I want to tell you something.
So just tell me.
No, I want you to sit down first. When was the first time you had a crush?
I thought you wanted to tell me something.
I'm getting to it. Your first crush.
5th grade, a girl named Naslima.
I was in 6th. Her name was Rivka.
I thought your first crush was Susan.
No, that was the first girl I ever kissed. Rivka was the first girl I ever got up in the morning thinking about. One time she went away to Disney World in the middle of the school year. I was abject. I didn't even want to go to school if I couldn't see her. She was a looker. Dark hair, dark eyes, dimples, perfect white skin.
Why didn't you ever tell me about her?
I didn't want you to hate my mother. Just wait. So, Rivka and I had gotten to the point where we were trading notes. And one day, my mother found one of these notes. And of course, it's signed Rivka. Rivka, my mother says. That's a Jewish name. Now, I wasn't clear on what exactly a Jew was at the time, other than they had stolen land from the Palestinians and something about how God hated them more than other people. But I couldn't imagine God hating this little girl. So I tell my mom, no, she's not Jewish, but she knew the name was Jewish. If I ever hear that name in this house again, Amir, I will break your bones. You will end up with a Jew over my dead body. And then she spat in my face.
My God.
That's so you don't ever forget. Next day, Rivka comes up to me in the hall with a note. Hi, Amir, she says, eyes sparkling. I look at her and I say, you have the name of a Jew. She smiles. Yes, that's because I'm Jewish, she says. Then I spit in her face.
That's horrible.
Man, that's effed up.
Right. So when my older sister goes on to you about this way and the other way, now you will have a better idea of the phase I'm really going through. It's called intelligence.
I'm surprised.
By what?
I don't know. Your mother was very open with me.
Well, let's just say I made it abundantly clear not to mess with you.
I thought she liked me.
Seemed like it to me.
She kissed me on her deathbed.
You won her over. You were open-hearted and gracious.
You make it sound like there was some whole battle going on.
Well?
About what?
White women have no self-respect. How can someone respect themselves if they think they have to take off their clothes to make people like them? They're whores.
What are you saying?
What Muslims around the world say about white women.
Not everyone says that.
Have you heard it or not?
Yeah.
And more than once?
Yes.
And from your mother?
Yeah.
I rest my case.
Imam Farid is not like that, and if you got to know him better, you'd realize he's actually your kind of guy. Once a month, we're doing a Friday prayer that's mixed.
And he let me sit in his mosque and sketch every day for weeks.
He's probably hoping you'll convert. Who knows? You probably will.
Don't be dismissive.
I don't understand what you see in it.
In Islam.
Yeah.
When we were in the mosque in Cordoba, remember that? The pillars and arches?
Those were great.
Remember what you said?
I'm sure you're going to remind me.
That it actually made you feel like praying.
That's kind of the point of a mosque, honey.
And that Matisse show that you loved so much, he got all of that from Mogul miniatures, carpets, Moroccan tiles.
Fine, I got it.
There's so much beauty and wisdom in the Islamic tradition, Amir.
But the thing is, it's not just beauty and wisdom.
What is?
Uncle, don't think of him as a Muslim if you don't want to. Think of him as a wise man who so many people depend on.
I hear you, Huss. I really do.
So come to the hearing next Thursday.
Next Thursday's a busy day at work.
You know, an old man who didn't do anything wrong is in prison.
And there's nothing I can do about it.
Honey.
I should probably head out.
No, I didn't mean to snap at you.
Yeah, just think about it.
Okay, fine.
Bye, sweetie.
Bye, Emily.
We good?
Yeah,
I love you.
I love you too.
His heart is in the right place, Amir.
I know.
Is yours?
What is that supposed to mean?
Why would you have worked in the public defenders if you didn't care about justice?
Public defenders have the hottest girlfriends.
I'd like to think there's some part of you that believed in what you were doing.
No, of course.
Oh, but when it comes to the imam, it's like you don't care. Like you don't think he's human.
You and Hussein wanted me to go see him, so I went. I went to go see that man in prison. And he spent an hour trying to get me to pray again. He's been in prison for 4 months, but all he can do is try to get...
So what? So a man who has nothing left but his dignity and his faith is still trying to be useful in the only way he knows how? I mean, if he feels he needs one of his own people around him...
I am not one of his own people.
You are, and in a way that is unique and can be helpful to him. Why can't you see that?
Can we stop talking about this?
We never talk about this. Not really. Amir,
What?
think about it. Please. For me? The defendant, Imam Ali Farid, surrounded by a gauntlet of attorneys, struck a defiant tone. He spoke eloquently of the injustices he'd experienced and what he called an unconscionable lack of due process. Amir Kapoor of the New York law firm Leibowitz Bernstein Harris supported the imam, stating, "As far as anybody knows, there isn't a case. And if the Justice Department has one, it's time they started making it." I don't think you look like counsel for the defense.
That's because you know I'm not.
It's because it doesn't say you are.
The defendant, surrounded by a gauntlet of attorneys, struck a defiant tone. And then she quotes an attorney, me, implying that I am one of the gauntlet of attorneys. She doesn't quote another attorney.
But she says you're just supporting him.
I don't see a just. There is no just supporting him.
It's implied.
I think it reads very clearly that I was supporting his defiant tone, that I was supporting him being defiant.
Isn't he justified?
Oh, that's not my point, Em.
Maybe it should be.
The man is basically an alleged terrorist.
Even if it does make you look like...
Oh, so it does.
I don't think it does. But even if it does, why is that a bad thing? What you did is right. You're standing up for due process.
It's just...
What?
Don't you think that people are going to think that... I mean, I guess they'll look at the name, and if they know anything at all, they will know the name isn't Muslim.
Amir, what's going on?
I clearly said I was not counsel for the defendant. And why did they have to mention the firm?
Baby, you did the right thing. I am so proud of you. So is Abe, and you'll see. Mort is going to be proud of you, too.
Mort's not the one I'm worried about.
Now, this is going to be good for you at work.
Good for me?
Look at Goldman Sachs. Jamie, he took all that philanthropy so seriously.
What does your douchebag banker ex-boyfriend have to do with this?
Isn't that how it works? Isn't that how all you guys cover up the fact that all anybody cares about in your world is making money?
Supported the imam.
Honey, look at me. Stop it. You are overthinking this.
Let me get this straight. Some waiter was a dick to me in a restaurant and you want to make a painting. But if it's something that might actually affect my livelihood, you don't want to believe there could be a problem?
What does one thing have to do with the other? That's Isaac.
Right.
Yes. Send him up. Well, I mean, he's here.
Okay.
Do you want to keep talking about this?
No, I don't.
Honey, this is a big deal for me. I have a studio visit with a curator from the Whitney.
And who do you think made that happen?
Really?
I gotta go.
At least it's on page A14. I mean, nobody ever gets that far.
Don't. I know your mind is elsewhere. Left my phone in the bedroom.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Great.
Find it okay?
Quick ride up Madison couldn't be easier.
Amir is on his way out.
Isaac.
Hello, sir.
It's good to see you.
You too.
Oh, thanks again for a wonderful weekend in the country.
Would have been better with the Giants Redskins on, but
Sacrifices we make.
indeed.
Okay, guys.
I gotta run. I'll be late for work.
Well, you'll probably still get there before my wife.
Always do. See you later, Em.
It's gonna be fine. You'll see.
Is this a bad time?
No.
You sure?
Yeah. Can I get you some coffee, tea,
Sure. Coffee'd be great.
milk, sugar?
Black is fine. Constable's great, isn't he?
Love him.
You get up close to the surface of some of these paintings, and it's like looking at a Van Gogh. Only Constable was doing it 50 years earlier. You know, one of the things I love about going to Frieze every year, my little pilgrimage to see Constables at the Tate. You ever been?
Tate, yes. Freeze, no. But I am going this year.
You are.
I'm looking forward. I do love London.
It's great. Not New York, of course. But, thanks.
I mean, in its own way.
I'm partial. I've been in love with the city since first laying eyes on it from the ferry.
The ferry was your first view of the city?
I was 8. We drove in from the Midwest. It was my dad's idea to go through Staten Island and take the ferry. I remember it so well. Lower Manhattan, like a fort built of skyscrapers. It was breathtaking. And then we got off the ferry and my dad got mugged.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he was fine. So I spent a fair bit of time thinking about that discussion we had last weekend.
I still think you're wrong.
I think I might be wrong, too.
You read Jerry's review of my last show, didn't you?
Look, I don't always agree with Jerry, but he did say some interesting things. This is the piece you wanted me to see.
Here in the apartment? There are more at my studio uptown.
I have to admit, I'm compelled. It has presence. The figures emerging from the ground, the surface tending towards the convex. It's a bending of the picture plane, isn't it?
Exactly.
Which is why Jerry mentioned late Bernard in his review.
The mosaics in Andalusia are bending the picture plane 400 years before Bernard. That's what I was saying. The Muslims gave us Aristotle. Without their translations, we wouldn't have him. I mean, without the Arabs, we wouldn't even have visual perspective.
That's quite a statement.
And I can back it up. What?
I don't know. It's your earnestness, the lack of irony. I mean, it's unusual.
Irony's overrated.
Can't say I disagree with that.
But
You're a white woman.
I am.
Using Islamic forms. You know what you're going to be accused of. Orientalism. It's inevitable. I mean, hell, you've even got the brown husband.
Fuck you, I think.
Good, because that's what they're going to say.
Yeah. Well, we've all gotten way too wrapped up in the optics. The way we talk about things, we've forgotten to look at things for what they really are. When you're in London, after the constables, you need to visit the Victoria and Albert. Room 42, the Islamic galleries. It'll change the way you see art.
Is that right?
Isaac, the Islamic tiling tradition is a doorway to the most extraordinary freedom, and which only comes through a kind of profound submission. In my case, it's not submission to Islam, of course, but to the formal language, the pattern, the repetition, and the quiet that this work requires of me is extraordinary.
Repetition, obliterating the ego. You sound like a post-war minimalist.
The Islamic tradition's been doing it for 1,000 years. Pardon me for thinking they may have a better handle on it. It's time we woke up. It's time we stopped paying lip service to Islam and Islamic art. We draw on the Greeks, the Romans, but Islam is a part of who we are too. God forbid anybody actually try to remind us of that. What?
No, this is good. This is good. You have more like this at the studio?
A lot more.
Is there a place I can grab a bite?
There's a great bodega on the way.
Change the way I see art, huh?
We'll see.
This is LA TheatreWorks' production of Disgraced by Ayad Akhtar. Our story continues next time. I'm Susan Loewenberg, producing director of LA TheatreWorks.